Please be seated.
Let it be noted that all 5 members of the Board of Education are present. In regards to agenda review, there are no changes. And we'll start off with the superintendent report.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Good evening, board. I want to start off with just some of the things that have happened since right before we started school until just today going forward. So lots of things take place getting ready for school. We have a tremendous group of leadership students, especially across our middle schools, that take on some of that responsibility of welcoming our new 6th graders. So this is Edna Hill Middle School's leadership students back on the 16th. We also have a lot of community members, and I'm sorry about the picture, but it looks great on my screen. But we have a lot of community members that come out and support our schools in different ways. And so I want to thank the Young Professionals Network who donated backpacks to Marsh Creek, and thank them for that. And then here's how this welcome looks at Bristow in terms of their Where Everybody Belongs leaders and welcoming those 6th graders and making them feel like they belong at the school. Speaking of other people that support schools, longtime relationships between the neighborhood church, and this is Pastor Burris and Edna Hill Middle School, next door neighbors there, and donated some supplies, so we appreciate their partnership going forward. And then here's some back to school campus tours led by student leaders out at Adams, and had 375 families show up out there. So thanks to everybody who worked so hard to make everybody feel welcome before school started. And then we have a few days right before school starts with our staff. And so you can see this is our Loma Vista staff. You might not be able to see it in that picture, but they all got sunglasses with their theme of seeing the magic through their eyes. And then you can see Adams here doing a little AMS staff Olympics going on. So I'm sure no HR rules were violated in that contest, but it looks like lots of fun. And then this is a tradition. I know that Julie started at least, was it a couple years ago, Julie? Okay. And where instead of like a sneak a peek activity, they do a scavenger hunt before school starts, and it allows parents to come on with their kids and find their classroom and find the library and the restrooms and all of those things. So lots of fun out there. And then the first day of school is just a great day and lots of good pictures to choose from, but I chose a few here. And I think the principals, what I've really seen over the years is how hard they work to not only make a great environment for their students, but also provide little subtle things like a picture spot for parents to take pictures, as that's become a bigger thing, and welcome them to their community. So I appreciate all their work on that. I also want to thank the board for continuing on their tradition of delivering cakes out to each of the schools. This was, if you can see at the very top of the cake, this is where when I was moving it, I smushed it in a little bit. So, and so I apologize. I don't remember which school it is, and it's probably good that I don't. But it was delivered perfectly fine until the superintendent tried to move it for a picture.
There you go. In defense of you, the 4 that I delivered all had my stomach mark in it too. Carrying that box, so.
Good to know. Okay, so and then also just recognizing, right, it's we spend a lot of time talking about our teachers and our administrators, but there's lots of support staff behind the scenes that make sure that our kids are taken care of right when they get there, and groups like our food services workers, right, work so hard to all of a sudden ramp up and serve hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of meals all at once. And so really a big thank you to them. And I like the graphic that Garen did out there. Lots of great activities, also welcoming kids back to school. So again, I don't know why these photos are so bad here going across. Again, they look fine here and in some of the screens. But you can see this is Pioneers Parents Club welcoming kids or welcoming families before back to school night. There's Principal Samir Noor and his Parents Club are out there, also recruiting parents to join them and be part of the support that they offer to the school. And then also on July 31st, I was able to go out and visit with Brentwood Elementary School. They were selected for a special visit from principals who had won these awards in Tasmania And they wanted to see an exceptional school with parent engagement and programs. And so they asked if they could come out and visit Brentwood Elementary. And so Guy and Patty and his team took them on a tour of the school. They got to go in classrooms. The most fun was when they were in fifth grade. They let the fifth graders ask them questions, and I'd say at least half the questions were on the venomous snakes in Australia. So that was fun. One of the teachers actually kept snakes or used to keep snakes as a hobby. So that's a thing. But anyway, that was lots of fun to have them out there as well. Lots of opportunities for students to be recognized even in the beginning of school. So these are the raffle winners from Montagnez School who demonstrated the characteristics that the school was enforcing out there and enjoying their root beer floats. And then family nights already. So here's another back to school night. And thanks again to the Rotary Club of Brentwood for being out there cooking hot dogs, and the Marsh Creek's Parents Club for all their support. And we even had Liberty student leaders out there helping with events and tables, things like that. And then I got to go out and see Pioneer started with 5 solid mornings of morning meetings out with all students. And so it might be hard to see in the big picture, but about 3 feet above every other person in that picture is a colt. Who happens to be much taller than the colt that was there last year. And so it was lots of fun. They were out there dancing and having a good time. Also want to thank, we're excited to have our school resource officer, Basmagian, back. He started with us right at the end of last year, but coming out, he's been making the rounds around, and we're excited to have their partnership going forward. This was something Brian Jones worked with a group called Chess for Girls. And as you can see by the picture, it's not just for girls, but that's the name of the organization. And they're hosting sanctioned chess tournaments. And so Brian volunteered to open Cray on a Saturday and have them come out. And one of the Cray Coyotes, Neil, took first place in the division. So trying to build that program. So thank you, Brian, for your work there. Back to school family picnic here out at Montagnez, again, bringing families out and getting people involved. This was fun. I was out at Bristow Middle School, and Mrs. Whiting, who teaches a number of electives, including home ec and arts and crafts class, they were doing yarn art. The kids had been working on locally grown fruits, and so they had done art with locally grown fruits, and then you can see the corn and the cherries and some of the different fruits that were there. I want to thank the HSS. They came out and again partnered with us this year and donated 50 backpacks and supplies to our students, and we appreciate them and Ms. Job for working with them. And then this morning right early this afternoon out at Adams Middle School, the Rotary Club, working together with the Black Student Union from Adams, installed and dedicated a peace pole on the campus. And so the students worked in picking what the languages were that are there, and that peace pole will now be represented with other peace poles across the world going forward. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you very much for that crystal clear presentation. Thank you. Board member comments, committee reports. The only thing is myself and Vic Thornhill went to the Wildlife Museum. I guess it's actually in Pittsburgh, right? Guess so. We got lost. We'll call it Pittsburgh.
Concord, I would think.
Concord? All right. And it was very, very, very interesting. And they were, basically they were asking if it'd be something that we might consider as far as a school trips. It's not open to adults. It's only open to school-aged students. And they will, in fact, reimburse for like buses. If we decide to bus over there, they'll reimburse us. So I requested, unbeknownst to us, there was numerous of us there unexpectedly, one being our assistant superintendent. She brought several people. So it was kind of nice. I think we probably had about 85% of the people that were there going through the tour. So it was kind of cool. But I would highly recommend it. Did ask for some feedback from some of the staff that was there and awaiting the feedback. I think it would be a good program to centralize it. Like if you're going through U.S. history, there's definitely a history section, and then they could go off, and it would be every kid's dream to see thousands of stuffed animals. So it's very interesting as far as that goes. But
Not this first.
that's pretty much all I had to say. Anybody else? With that being said, that I'll take a motion to open public comment.
Move that we open public comment.
I'll second.
All those in favor of opening public comment?
Aye.
Is there any yellow slips, speaker slips? Anybody? Any of the two of you?
Move that we close public comment.
Second.
All those in favor of closing public comment?
Aye.
Opposed, 5-0. Moving down to consent items. Does anybody want to pull any of the 15 consent items?
If not, I move that we approve consent items 8.0 through 8.15.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Hearings and appeals. We're going to open a public hearing regarding the sufficiency of textbooks and instructional materials. This is just to open it. It is not a action item.
Second? No, we do have to open.
I move that we open the public hearing.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And
And
Mr. President,
again, we will open it next week and then
Yeah.
close it.
close
with
it at
a-
our next meeting. Yeah,
Right.
it's an annually required item. Thank
Right.
you.
We're at 10.0, and I have a report out of closed session. The board approved the reinstatement of student 09-2025-03 with a vote of 5-0, and that was for closed session. The district 26-27 45-day budget revise. Diane?
Thank you. Good evening, Board. Here we go. The 45-day revise is an update now that Governor Newsom signed the budget. So as you remember, we were here on June 17th of this year, and the board approved the new fiscal year budget, the 26-27 budget, which became effective on July 1st. But Governor Newsom did not sign the state budget into law until June 29th, which is after our budget. So the 45-day revise talks about any changes or additions from the enacted budget, and kind of reviews what we did in the adopted budget. So at the adopted budget, and which has been approved and signed by the governor, there is a statutory COLA of 2.87%. And you may remember there's an additional LCFF ongoing investment of 1.44% for the base for school districts. And this additional base grant funding is expected to cover this new paid pregnancy disability leave, which was also signed into law. And this will allow up to 14 weeks of paid leave for school employees with a doctor's note, and it is not deducted from accrued paid leave. So there was a cost to school districts, and it's estimated for our district to be about $300,000 annually. And that is being funded in part by this ongoing 1.44%. So the enacted budget highlights that impact our adopted budget. So there was one-time funds, the discretionary block grant, and one-time funds of the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant. So that's what I'm going to be talking about and showing how that changed our budget from June 17th. And we talk a lot about one-time funds, especially since like 2020 when we had COVID. And that kind of became ongoing one-time funds for a variety of sources. And what they talk about the CDE is that, it says California has really provided substantial one-time funds through Prop 98, but we can't build future budgets on that assumption because it's not a guarantee that every year that we're going to get one-time money. And we never know until the year is approved, and it often is also a settle up. And I think that's what I was going to talk about in a minute is there's more money that the governor isn't funding us this year. But so taking a look at the impact. So this one-time funding is a discretionary block grant. And as of today, the California Department of Education hasn't appropriated an amount per ADA. However, Capital Advisors has recommended $915 per ADA, so it will be around that. So that is what we've set our budget until the CDE says it's exactly this amount. So that is estimated about $8,873,000 of one-time funds for the district. And then the other one-time fund is the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant, which we continue to get. And this is a component of the LCAP. So the requirement is those funds be spent specifically on one of our LCAP goals and fit into the LCAP plan. And that is estimated at $578,000 additional one-time funds for the district this year. So again, one-time funds can be valuable to our district when matched with one-time needs. And if it's not matched to one-time needs, it can create a significant structural deficit when the funding expires. So I think one of the things we always need to remember is what happened when the funds goes away. If the expenditure also ends, then it's a well-matched one-time funding. But however, if it's not matched to a one-time fund, then your unrestricted general fund will either need to absorb the expenditure, which creates a structural deficit, or you establish what we might call an exit policy or sustainability plan for that one-time additions that you added. So, there's pros and cons to it. Obviously, there's advantages. The district can address temporary needs without permanently increasing our unrestricted budget base. It allows for major purchases without creating, reoccurring annual costs. It provides flexibility when we have district urgent priorities where we need revenue. And it can provide temporary budget relief as we are having during an enrollment decline, because as your enrollment declines, you're getting less revenue from the state. And then looking at the other side, the potential risks, as we've said, it really does create a funding cliff. If programs or positions from one-time funding continue after the funding goes away, it can mask the structural deficit. The revenue is unpredictable, as we say, because one-time funds, it can be a lot, a little, it can change, there can be none. Temporary staffing and services can become, difficult to unwind really successful programs when the funding goes away. And of course, with all restricted funding, there's a significant amount of reporting requirements and compliance obligations that we also have to follow. So this chart is a one-time funding framework. And so it's by color. And the green column is what I call like a strong match. Like if you have one-time funds, these are the type of expenditures that work really well with it. And then the yellow types of expenditures will need an exit strategy. And then the red, we call that structural risk, because if it stays, it creates that deficit. So some examples of really strong match. So curriculum materials. And for example, we're going to be adopting a math curriculum, and it's going to be a few $1 million over the next 2 years. So that is something, one-time funding is, a very valuable resource to have. And again, professional development, when we adopt the curriculum, there will be training for all teachers, and, that can be paid by one time. Technology, I actually use the example of replacing aging teacher laptops and classroom devices because we don't have ongoing funds for that. And, teacher laptops, they only last so long, and we do a refresh every year, but we have to take it out of the sort of unrestricted balance, and we can't always refresh as many as we would like at one time. Under equipment, I also use technology. They have a district vehicle, a truck they use from 1999 to deliver and to, repair and go to all the sites. And they go to the sites every day. So that's the type of thing one time would be good for. And then other things could be facility projects that might meet the criteria, such as like playground improvements or furniture replacement. So then the yellow column is what we call the exit strategy needed. So as we know, the board, you approved intervention teachers for 2 years. So we have a strategy that in 2 years, either the district has more funding, finds it from somewhere else, or the program may go away. Temporary staffing, again, for a short-term program or a need that is a one-time need. Short-term expanded services, same thing, especially for like curriculum and instruction and providing support. It's not an ongoing annual cost. Pilot programs, additional PD. Now, on the red, which is the structural risk side, is that the things that one-time funding, can't be used for is permanent positions, permanent salary increases, ongoing benefit increases, reoccurring contracts, or permanent programs that have been established with one-time funds that don't have an ongoing revenue source. Because again, that funding is coming this year, and then the out years, you don't have it anymore. Or if you use, $3 million to fund something over 3 years, you can have that program for 3 years, but then after that, you have to have the exit strategy. So looking at our 45-day revise, so what we just said is, to recap, is that we do have an increase in the restricted ending fund balance, but on the unrestricted ending fund balance, there is no change, because what we adopted in the budget, which I'll show in a minute, didn't change on the unrestricted side, but the restricted ending fund balance did increase due to those one-time funds, the one-time discretionary block grant, and one-time learning recovery block grant. The multi-year projection for 45-day revise, it does not include the board approved a salary increase for all employees on June 17th of 2.3%. That is not yet in the multi-year projection. And as we know, we have had no negotiations yet for 26-27, so the ending fund balance in the unrestricted side doesn't reflect any of that. So this is the same table you see at all the budget adoption and interim reports, but if you look at the very bottom line, where it says unrestricted ending fund balance reserve, and the first column is our adopted budget. That was on June 17th. And if you look at the very bottom, it says we have a 6.74% unrestricted ending fund balance reserve. Now, if you go to the third column, this is the 45-day revise. And it is still, looking at the arrows, it's still 6.74%. Nothing has changed based on what the governor signed into law. But if you look at the third line from the bottom, it says restricted ending fund balance. You'll see that at the adopted budget, it was $6 million. And today, it is $15.9 million. And that has to do with the increases from the estimated increases for the one-time funding that the governor signed into law. And you can see in column 2 where it says enacted budget, those are the funds, one-time funds that we just talked about in the previous slides. And then again, the 6.74% does not include the salary increases that were approved in June. And then when you look at the 2 following years, because we're always required to, the board has to certify 3 years of financial obligations, they are the same. So year 2, it's at 27-28 is at 7.57%, and year 3 is at 6.36%. And those will change once the salary increases are included, are updated in the new budget. So, so as we said, we have the enacted budget. These are the changes and how they affect the district budget. And besides the money that the governor gave us, he also, again, significantly underfunded Prop 98 ongoing education funding by almost $4 billion. Right? Yeah, billion. Oh, million?
It's billion.
A billion, yeah. Well,
How much-
a lot.
How much money is that?
Is that about 7 million for us? Yeah, or more, more 7 million or more, that would be ongoing revenue for our district. So again, this is coming what should be base funding for all school districts. What he said, well, we're not going to include it right now. We'll pay you back at some time, and we're not quite sure what it will look like. So it really has a significant impact in our ongoing, providing all the resources our students need and our teachers need to teach, and for our schools to really excel. That's it. It's not a good policy. Did you want to add?
No.
Okay. So, we have these one-time funds, and again, they have a lot of advantages, but they also, they're for one-time, non-recurring purposes, and they do mask, structural deficits.
Sure do.
The other sort of component for us is we do have, as we've talked about, a potential enrollment decline from our last school year, about 165 students, and we did lower our enrollment at adopted budget. But what that does, again, is that compared to last year, it reduces our revenue by about $2 million because our enrollment has dropped. So that's another sort of budget challenge. And then also, as part of our multi-year projections and where we're looking today at the budget, it's important to remember that in order for the board to have approved the tentative agreement, the negotiated salary increases in June, at the same meeting, the board approved a budget reduction proposal of $2.3 million to help the unrestricted ending fund balance meet that. And part of it, again, was the intervention teachers, which we already talked about. Also, remembering back to March, a second interim, and the board approved a budget reduction proposal of a little over $500,000 to start the savings to initiate, and be able to afford a negotiated salary increase. And in that reduction included the elimination of a curriculum and instruction coordinator position, a .2 FTE counselor at Harvest Grove, and the district receptionist position work calendar was reduced by 50 days. So we continue to monitor the budget closely, and we always want to focus on our students and our educational programs. That's why we're here. We want to do the best for our students. So this is a 45-day revise, is for information only. And so what you will see next month at the board meeting on September 9th is the unaudited actuals. So right now we're talking about this year's budget. The unaudited actual is the closing of last year's budget. So 25-26, it's the budget's been closed in July and August. We've paid all the bills, and so we present that at that board meeting. And then in December 10th, you get first interim, which updates the budget from adopted. And that includes, changes in enrollment, our ADA, all our salaries are in, and, all our new hires, and everything is from the adopted budget. So that's our process. That's it. Thank you.
Any questions for Diane?
Thank you. It was
Just-
clear.
Yeah, very clear. Just a comment. it really demonstrates what the impact is of the state not coming through and making the contributions that it needs to make to have us have an adequate education for our kids. We want more than an adequate. We want an excellent education for our kids. And when you see that, and the one that just jumps out at me is that we have been able to, with all the cuts, we've been able to retain the intervention programs and the teachers that go with that. And we know that if we're going to have excellence in education, we have to have excellent intervention programs. And if we're going to close the achievement gap, we have to have those intervention programs. And yet it's a structural deficit, so it doesn't even fit into the structure because we basically are not being funded properly. And and so right now it's almost roll the dice to see that this funding is going to be able to be, to come to us and the money is owed us. And so that's just, I don't know, sorry to be so negative, but that is the situation that we find ourselves in and how it relates to our educational program.
Anybody else? All righty. With that being said, moving to 10.2, the district summer program update.
I'm sorry, you guys changed.
So we're happy to have Christy Sanchez with us and Kelly Ott, who are our summer program managers, and they're going to share with you a little bit about all the great work they did this summer and what took place for so many kids across the district. So thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us. Make sure you guys just turn on.
I feel like we're in a debate.
A panel. I'll let you go first.
All right, so we had 3 district programs this summer. I'm Christy Sanchez. I am a program specialist for my day job, and this was my 3rd year as ESY principal. We support students with IEPs. These are our students with the most significant cognitive disabilities that really require that routine and summer continuation so that they don't lose their skills. We serviced kids from preschool through 8th grade, and we had over 220 students this year and 40 teachers and over 80 classified staff members, making sure that all our kids were safe, happy, and healthy.
And I'm Kelly Ayotte. I'm the vice principal over at Bristow Middle School. This is my 3rd year supporting our summer programs. We had 2 programs going on at Isaac Montañez Elementary School. We had our Right at School program, which was serving our extended learning opportunity students. Those were kids ages or grades TK through 5. This was staffed by Right at School, but I did support the program as the administrator on site. We had over 200 students enrolled in that program. It was probably one of the largest summer programs we've had through Right at School. We also had our Summer Math Academy. This program switched a little bit this year to really supporting with attendance recovery through targeted academic enrichment. And those students were grades 2 through 5. We had about 20 students per class and 2 classes per grade level. So we had a total of 160 students enrolled. Each class was staffed with a certificated teacher and an instructional aide. So we had about a 10-to-1 ratio for our students, which gave a lot of opportunity for some hands-on learning and really targeted instruction to meet student needs. Our Summer Math Academy students were selected. They were unduplicated students. Those would be our students who are English language learners, foster homeless youth, or families that, are low-income families. We invited them to attend the Summer Academy program, again, as a means to recover some of that attendance loss throughout the school year. We had probably one of our strongest enrollments. We had families that were placed on the wait list because we didn't have enough space for them this year, which was wonderful. As some families decided that it wasn't going to be a good fit for them, we were able to offer those open slots to families that were waiting, and they were very grateful to be a part of the program.
For extended school year, students are eligible to attend based on their IEP. So within their annual IEP, the team decides if the student requires extended school year to meet their IEP goals. And then we invite them to attend, and most of them do because it is very beneficial for their students.
And then our Right at School or Extended Learning Opportunity Program, were students who were already participating with the Right at School program during the regular school year, and they extended that opportunity for families to continue to have access to that care throughout the summer months. All right, our summer math program, our students were welcomed with music and fun in the drop-off loop. They were given a morning snack at recess. We provided sack lunches for all of our families to take, or all of our students to take home, which was wonderful. And there was also transportation available for several of our families. Overall, we served 2,721 meals to our Summer Academy students this summer, and that was over 19 instructional days. So there were a lot of mouths fed. There was a lot of hands-on learning, interactive learning, a lot of cooperative learning. So the kids were really engaged. They had a wonderful time, and they enjoyed coming back every day. Our curriculum was a lot of materials that came from Jo Bowler. She's a Stanford professor. And so it really focuses on that mathematical mindset, being flexible with math thinking, a lot of low floor, high ceiling opportunities for students to access the curriculum. There was a lot of work built around fact fluency and making sure our students are well prepared for entering the next grade. Again, we had small class sizes. We had about a 10-to-1 ratio with certificated teachers and instructional aides in the classroom. And it allowed us to serve a wide variety of needs. We had students with IEPs and 504s also attending our program. These are a couple of our highlights from Summer Math Academy. We went with the tropical theme this summer and welcomed students on the first day. We had lots of eager faces waiting to enter the school. And again, you can see Liberty Union provided the transportation for us. Here's some pictures of a lot of that hands-on learning, students engaged in math games, in partners, small groups. There was a lot of community circle building happening in some of our classrooms, and our kids really built some strong relationships with one another and with their teachers. We even had the otter greet our students at Isaac Montañez. That was actually my stepdaughter who I encouraged to get inside of the otter costume, but the kids absolutely loved it. It was the highlight of their day, and there were several parents stopping to get out of their cars just to get a picture of their kids with the otter. We did a lot of, seventh grade. Mm-hmm. Yeah, kept her busy. And we did a lot of fun challenges. We did class challenges. Our secretary, Jody Hansen, was actually doing some guess that song or guess what movie this came from, and the kids were helping teachers earn prizes. We had some challenges between the 4th and 5th graders where they were trying to build the longest paper chain challenge. We had that great indoor hallway, which made it doable. It kept us from the heat. And then even our teachers engaged in some fun little challenges at recess time to engage the kids, and they had fun cheering their teachers on. So a wonderful group of veteran teachers that I have had the pleasure of working with for the last 3 years. And it's a joy to kind of see them again return year after year and enjoy this opportunity to connect with kids from different schools. And again, recess was the highlight of our day. We tried to make it fun. Jody Hansen and I brought out music every day. We did popsicles on Fridays. We tried to have chalk and other activities outside for the kids to enjoy, and they loved it.
All right, so for ESY, this year we were at Loma Vista. We had over 200 breakfasts and lunch served daily. We had special education transportation provided by Liberty. We had very small class sizes. We have, for our extensive needs, it's 10 children to a classroom. For our mild mod, it's 15. We had 2 teachers in the room, and we had our additional aid support. We used individualized academic instruction and social skills building for the kids. They also received speech, OT, PT, and behavior support and counseling services throughout their 4 hours a day that they were with us. We had weekly themes with our water play and spirit days. So this was week 1. The theme was Welcome to the Circus. The kids had so much fun. Each week we decorated the front entrance with whatever our theme was. Our curriculum and our sensory activities were all around the circus. So the kids really enjoyed. One of our teachers, Ms. Hans, dressed like a clown, as you can see. For week 2, we did Jurassic Park. The sensory activity that they really loved that week was frozen dinosaur eggs. So my children and I froze over 300 dinosaurs into small eggs, and the kids used water droppers and water to melt the dinosaur or the egg to get the dinosaur out, and the kids all got to keep the dinosaurs. So that was very special. And then with our extra dinosaurs, the kids got to dig them out of kinetic sand. For week 3, we had a really fun ocean theme. You can see in the upper right corner, we made ocean sensory bags. So luckily, my amazing secretaries helped pre-melt the bags with, they're just plastic and melted with a hair straightener. And the kids all got to come around. We had a mobile cart, and they all got to make their own sensory bag, and that was the biggest hit. Every single teacher was like, where did you find this? I'm doing it on the first day of school. So that was really special for the kids. On week 4, we had a fireworks theme for 4th of July. The kids, actually, some of our classes went on a field trip to Krispy Kreme donuts, so they had a lot of fun doing that. We did a lot of different art projects. You can see our friends are playing outside with shaving cream and dressing up in red, white, and blue. We did have a lot of fun this summer, riding bikes, doing the sprinklers. So just a few pictures of our staff having so much fun with the kids. They had such a great time, and it is literally, we have so many general education teachers that teach now because the word is spreading that this is like the most fun thing to do over your summer. And if your bucket needs to be filled, it's going to be filled here. So a couple thank yous. One of the people that I forgot to thank in this is Liberty. They have an amazing art club, and their art club came every single Tuesday. They sent me pictures in advance of the art projects they wanted to do, so we supplied the materials. They had the kids every Tuesday rotating through their center, and the kids made the most amazing art projects. The art volunteers had such a great time, and they were so amazing. So I really want to thank them because we could not have done art the way we did without them. And then also my secretaries, Blanca and Heather. Jackie Oria was our nurse. Kristen is so amazing with food services. We have so many kids with allergies, and she and I meet every year. We make a menu, and her staff is amazing. The custodians were amazing. We had to turn water on and off quite often. We had a lot of spills and things that needed to be cleaned up, and everyone was so amazing. Julie was so welcoming to let us be on her campus.
Yeah, I want to just echo a lot of that. We had, I had wonderful support from Angela Mullen. She's always wonderful at kind of doing that warm handoff every year to the program. My secretary, Jody Hansen, was amazing and just so welcoming and fun with the kids. They really enjoyed being around her. Our daytime custodian, Joshua Kenyon, he's a sub here in the district, was, again, really engaged with the kids, even though that wasn't his role. He came out at recess every day. If we found praying mantises or bugs, he would be out there holding holding them with the kids. And again, Kristen Neeson is amazing in helping make sure our kids are fed. We lost our freezer this summer over at IME, and her and her team quickly, were problem solvers and figured out where else we could store the food and make sure that it got over to our site so our kids were fed. So again, there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes to make this happen. And, special thank you goes out to everybody who makes sure that these programs are happening every year for our kids.
And obviously you can see on there, it's like HR, payroll, literally every department has a hand in making sure that these programs happen. And I do want to thank Tommy Foster, because he literally goes and picks up our special education students' individual materials from every school site and then brings them to the site that we're working at, takes everything from upstairs in the rafters, brings it to us. And he literally worked probably, I shouldn't say this, like a 14-hour day to make sure that all our kids had all of their things. And then we pack it all up, and then he has to take it all back. So the kids really rely on those individual supports and their materials, and we need those, and he did an amazing job.
I want to thank you both. It was fun to come out and visit the sites, and I just want to reiterate how you can see in the presentation how much energy and enthusiasm and creativity they both put into their programs. And as I walked around, there were multiple staff members that stopped me at both programs just to tell me what an incredible job that both Kelly and Christy were doing and how much they appreciated the energy that you put into it too. And I'm also happy because now I know what to do with the hair straightener that I can't use for anything else anymore. So that's a good tip. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, on behalf of all of us, thank you. We super appreciate it. I had an opportunity to go visit your daughter. I know. I was trying to leave that out of it. But it was fabulous. And you guys did an awesome job, and heard a lot of feedback, and it was all nothing but positive. So thank you very much. So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, that brings us down to the Measure B update. Brings us to the Measure B update.
Thank you. So tonight, we're presenting a Measure B project update for what happened during the summer. And as a reminder, on June 7th, 2016, the Brentwood Union School District voters passed Measure B, a $158 million bond measure. And we really appreciate the support of the whole community, because this program really benefits our students and families and the community. With these funds, there's a lot of great things that have been built and continue to be maintained because of that. I'd also like to introduce Sean Stroman, because I don't think anybody has met Sean. He is with Cumming Group, which is our construction management firm. Formerly, John Navarro was the senior project construction manager, and Sean is now, as we say, you're not replacing John, but he's doing an important job, and so far it's going really well. Sean's been with us 6 weeks, so thank you, Sean. So our projects this summer, as this is our third summer in a row of replacing new flooring, which is part of phasing this into the district, which I'll show you from each school in a minute, a photo. And we did a turf replacement and then our big HVAC replacement for the Bristow Middle School gym. So again, it always looks so clean and shiny. This is the Brentwood Elementary. They did the carpet and flooring for the classrooms. You can see the library and also some bathrooms. Guerin had more carpeting. We did carpeting in Guerin last year, so we're trying to finish that up this year. Bristow Middle School, again, we have done carpeting over the past 2 years, and this is kind of the final component of that. This is some admin offices, and they also did the library and the computer lab. In Pioneer Elementary, we got new carpet for some of the classrooms and the library. It was really based on the classrooms with the most need or that already had some possible safety issues. And the next summer, Pioneer Elementary will be hopefully completed along with the next process with the schools coming up. So we put in a new playground turf at Ron Nunn Elementary School. When the bond was first passed, all the elementary schools received new, if you may remember, play turfs. And so that was 10 years ago. Wow. And what we did is we worked with Cummings, and we, along with Will Steiner, our director of M&O, and we selected this new type of turf to use this as a pilot. It's supposedly more durable, perhaps lasts longer, it's an updated material. So we did that at Ron Nunn Elementary as a pilot to see how this goes for the other elementaries, which over time would be upgraded. The biggest project this summer, as we had talked about when you approved contract, was the Bristow Middle School gym HVAC replacement project. And that started the second week in school, I think, and it finished in time for school to start so that by the day 5 of school, that following Monday, students could occupy the gym safely. And we are down to the last, they're cleaning up marks on the gym floor. I mean, literally, it's, the cleanup, and there are some access panels for the locker rooms because the roof goes over the gym, the locker rooms, and the cafeteria. So they had to bring in big cranes. It was a really big project. It was well organized. We were there all the time, and they were able to meet all the deadlines. We had hoped to finish for school, but we weren't sure. So we had a contingency plan. And those are the projects that we focused on this summer.
Great.
Any questions, comments, anything?
I've been drive by the Bristow a couple of times, and the cranes and all were. That was a huge project.
Thanks, Tom.
Well, just
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So it brings us to 10.4, the VUSD Board Priority Goal Update on Attendance.
Thanks, John.
All right. So, hello, board. I'm back again to talk about our attendance goals this year. So, before you, we have the first round of our priority goals that we have to talk about, and we're talking about attendance. So, as we have been doing for a number of years now, we are focusing on improving our district-wide attendance. And we're so lucky because the amazing administrators that are here have been focusing on this as their site goals as well. And we are mutually doing that with our district goals. So we are focusing really on reducing that chronic absenteeism. That is our biggest focus, is supporting our highest need students and building that sense of belonging on our campuses that helps to support all students, and also reducing barriers for families to make sure we get all of our kids to school where they can thrive. So that is the big piece of that goal poster that you have approved for us. So the importance of attendance, as you know, is it's multifaceted, is that we want our kids to learn, we want them to be strong learners, learn those habits of learning, that those great skills, also to feel connected to others in their classrooms, know that they belong, that sense of those good social emotional skills, and then that long-term, those to know that they can go to college, those life skills, all those pieces, whatever they choose to do in their life, we want them to have that long-term success. So the action steps that we're taking this year specifically are that we are a part of the countywide attendance campaign. And what I like about that is it helps us to find new ideas because we feel like we've been trying so many things. If you talk to any teacher, administrator, staff member in our district, we know that we have been pulling out all the stops to make sure that we get our kids to attend school. And we have been making small gains, but we're just trying to find any new thing that we can find. So our site action plans and our district action plans are to really find any way that we can remove barriers for kids. That's the newest thing that we're trying is what barriers does any child have that we can try to just tweak that one thing maybe for that child. So we want to reduce our chronic absenteeism by 1.4% each year. And then our feeling is if we can do that for the next 2 years, that we can be at 10%. That would be our goal. So we want to really focus on also that SARB feedback loop. The kids that get to that high level that we have to go to SARB, we want to see what is it that is working for you. If this is something that we are actually helping you, what is it that we are helping with? What can we do to support you? What do you need? And then our site and district culture and climate committees are something that's really important to help that sense of, making kids feel that they belong. And then this is the latest flyer we just created and sent out to everywhere. And we just want to make sure that everyone knows that they matter, that we want them at our schools, why we value them, and that they are important. So this is just what we just keep doing is just sending out lots of, I won't say propaganda, but it's really just,
Whatever it takes.
Marketing, thank you, it's a better word. Thanks, guys. Sorry, we've been here a long time today. All right.
I just have a real quick question on this. Was this meant for the kids or the parents?
Both. All
So-
of it. It goes to both.
Under why attendance matters, wouldn't it be appropriate to say for every day a student misses, the district doesn't get paid or something to do with that in there somewhere?
So we do those as well. So we send them something out every month, and we do have the flyers that say it's $75 a day. We've sent every single kind.
Okay.
So this is not the only one that we'll be sending. This is just our first one. This was our July
Okay.
or August. I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago. But we send all of them. So absolutely, we've sent multiple kinds, and we've had feedback from our community saying that was really helpful to send the $75. We've had the opposite feedback, but regardless, we're definitely letting everyone know that when their child misses school, it's not only harms their learning and their social, skills, but also it harms us.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So our attendance goal for this year is this last year we finished at 94.75% attendance rate, but we would like to increase that to 95.5. We're trying to be realistic with our goal. And then our chronic absenteeism, as I mentioned, to reduce at 1.4% to go to 12% this next year. And this is our dashboard. We don't have this year's dashboard yet to see. We hope that we already achieved 13% this last year. So that's why. We're making assumptions here, but we keep reducing it by about 10% each year. It was 0.9 last year. So not 10%, whatever, 1.11%. Sorry, got a little crazy there. All right, so this is it's a wild presentation tonight, guys. So this is just our data for our increases last year. I just like to show off that the hardworking people in this room have been doing a lot of work on trying to improve their attendance. And I'll report back again when we come back in the spring. But everyone's been making progress, and our district made progress as well. But we just wanted to highlight the hard work of everyone. And everyone they have systems, they're reaching out, they're calling families, they're doing incentives. They are just really trying to reach all families, and they are sending out flyers beyond the flyers that we send as a district. They're doing a lot of weekly information about what the attendance is in each grade level. They're doing so many things to try to reach families. So that is the update. Any questions on that?
this, that I'm just noticing, it's all of the hard work that's being done by the people in this room and their staffs and the teachers, because it's hard work, but everybody's edging, I mean, it's just getting better all the time, but man, so really thank you for all of that. I mean, because it is hard work. It's tremendous.
Absolutely.
On the second chart, that's supposed to be 24, 25, obviously, I'm assuming,
Oh, yeah.
correct?
The
School site.
our school site?
Mr. Dudek was asking if
Oh.
the years,
Oh, yeah.
comparative years.
On the one on the right, it just says 25, 25. Yeah, it's supposed to be 24, 25.
Okay.
Oh, that was, yeah. Oh, on the second
Right.
side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And what do we run, what do we at? Any idea after the first few weeks, couple of
I
weeks?
do not have that information. So we should be receiving that. Our attendance accounting gives us that information. So,
And it's usually higher right now than it
Right.
ends up averaging out when we get later on in the year.
So is that something that the schools all post individually? I know Ron Nunn did it just because I happened to be scanning.
They all
Maybe
have
it was a Twitter thing or something.
Yeah, they have incentive programs that they all do it a little bit different, but they have incentive programs where they share it as well. And then they also, Kirsten runs a contest every month, and so she sends out how well they did each month, and then there's a trophy that's babbled about.
yeah, where is the trophy right now? Hey, I am me and Adams. Okay. She knows.
All righty.
Okay, so I have a little bit more to share. I just wanted to give you a quick update on enrollment. With last board meeting, we already shared where enrollment was compared to last year, but I just wanted to briefly update you since then. I think you should have enough. If not, our printer had a little trouble. Sorry about that. We'll get that fixed, but yeah.
It's the same computer that did Dana's picture.
This is the same computer that did Dana's picture, so apologize for that.
Probably true.
But here you go.
There you go.
Justine, you want to hand those back to anyone who wants one? Okay, so just briefly, as you know, we ended last school year with 10,412 students. Sorry, a little ruckus back there. But then we've currently have 10,073 students, and that's with preschool. So if you look at this document, this means on the top right there, it says total plus with PS is 10,073 on the top of your document there. Sorry, guys. Oh, Connie, you want one? Wait, guess have one for Connie? Oh, Diane. Okay, Diane's got you. All right, so it's the 10,000, but it's really cool. If you look at this, are you good, Scott? Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, Diane, did you give, yes. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. No, I'm sorry. I thought you were walking that way. Okay, so then there's the 10,000, which is really cool, is that our total without preschool is 10,000 students. So it's just a nice milestone. I thought we could just share that information, so. All righty.
Question for you.
Yeah, sure.
The 10,004 and change last year, did that also include preschool?
Yes. So the 10,412 that we used to have had preschool, and the current 10,073 is with preschool. So that means that with the preschool, from the end of the last year, the last day of last school year, and current is that's a big difference of 339 kids. So it's a big shift, and that's something we were expecting, but it's a big loss. But since last meeting to this meeting, that's 66 more students that have enrolled just in this last, 3-4 weeks.
Right.
So I just wanted to update that TK class that we added at Brentwood L is already full. And since our last meeting, some highlights of some of the growth, we've added 15 TKers, 18 kinders, and then other growth areas are 6th grade and 7th grade. So just wanted to mention those. We know that we definitely staffed really tight conservatively because of our budget constraints, and then knowing that we're having the softening enrollment. But that 7th and 8th grade, even though it must be hard for our middle schools to hear that we're having softening enrollment, because it's not at middle school, that is for sure. So that is, it's almost like two different districts right now when you think about the difference in the softening and the expanding. So I just wanted to mention that. So we'll continue to monitor closely, especially 7th and 8th grade. Those are really large. Okay, any questions about this document? I just wanted to give you an updated one.
Diana, what did we report last year for total student for the ADA? Is that what we're up to 61?
So what we're funded off is the enrollment, it was 10,163
Oh, okay.
because it's in October. So
Right.
like we always say we ended up with, 2,400 or,
Right.
10,400, whatever. But that's how we're funded. And then the ADA, which is, say if it's 95% attendance, we get 95%
Right.
of each of those, of all those students, yeah. But we do traditionally, I think every year, and in the other districts too, if you can grow quite a bit in our district over the course of the whole year, but that's how the state funds.
So last year for funding, it was the 10,000.
10,163,
Okay.
and we don't get ADA for preschoolers.
Oh, okay.
So right now we're 163.
So, today we're at 10,000 students
That we get paid for.
that we get paid for. Yeah, well, we get paid.
But
So we're still looking at a pretty big significant hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I said, we're looking at about, based on today, we're at 10,000 students. That's about $2 million less in revenue for our district than last year. Yes.
We do typically continue to grow through the year, and so that's a positive thing. I think the important, and so if even in a declining enrollment situation, I think we all expect to grow some students as we go between now. Just like we said, the important thing to remember is basically whatever we grow until October break, that will be our number going forward. After October break, any students that come in, we don't get any money from those students.
So the actual physical counting isn't until after break? Because
right
a lot
before.
of families, it is before.
It's right before.
Oh, okay. A lot of families, I would think, would.
Well, if you see them, tell them to come in
I
before,
will do that.
especially if they're in 4th grade. Yeah.
Hopefully I'll run into a bunch of 4th graders at
Yeah.
Safeway and
There you go.
spread the word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Safeway is a great place to meet 4th graders.
Some of my finest work is in Safeway.
If they're there when you're there, they should be at school.
That's true. And right now, we're going to be doing 10-5, the approval, 27-28 district goals timeline.
Yeah, this should look very familiar, board. This is the document that you see every year that outlines the board's goal setting process and our LCAP process. And it's here for your approval, and we'll continue to update throughout the year.
Move that we approve item 10.5, the 27-28 district goals timeline.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 10.6, approval of resolution 2625. Should be 2627.
Nope.
Okay. 2625, a resolution regarding teacher assignments.
Yes, so board, this is a yearly resolution that you see in some form, basically under the different ed codes that are listed on the cover sheet. This resolution authorizes boards under very specific circumstances to assign teachers who hold credentials to teach outside of their credential area for very specific subjects, single subjects, outside of that primary credential authorization. They do have to meet the statutory requirements under Ed Code, which our office monitors, and the attachment shows you the list of teachers and the applicable Ed Code authorizing their assignments for this year. So your approval of this resolution allows the attached teachers to teach those courses and remain in compliance for credentialing in their assignments for the 26-27 school year.
And this is an action item. I do apologize. I thought it was 26, 27, but I see it's 25th resolution.
There's only like 13 people here, the whole district. And how many of them are, there's really no credential required? Not credential required, but yes, certification of a particular area.
Right, so broken down, right, like the very top one, basically that top ed code allows that teacher who holds a multiple subject credential, because they have done enough coursework to actually teach English. The second one is based on, they all hold a credential, but they're teaching something based on their experience, local assignments, right? We're saying like Jana Chin, for example, is a multiple subject teacher, but she is our reading essentials teacher because of the training that she has. And that is authorized under a local assignment by the governing board. And then the bottom section, like you said, all the different courses, right? There's not a credential for those courses. And the bottom section of Ed Code is specifically for elective courses. So all of those teachers hold credentials and they're authorized to teach those electives because they hold that base credential.
I move that we approve item 10.6, the resolution regarding teacher assignment.
Have a second, please.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, approval
Aye.
resolution 26-25 for teacher, resolution regarding teacher assignments.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0 has been approved. This one here is 10.7, which is the first reading of board policies, administrative regulations, and exhibits.
Yeah, there's 3 updated board policies based on changes in the law, and those are there for you, as well as with descriptions of the changes. And these are just for information tonight, but they will come back for action on consent agenda at the next meeting.
And again, this is information only. 11, board comment, future agenda items. Anybody have anything they'd like to see next month on here? Any comments about anything that's in the future that you go see or anything? With that being said, I will take a motion to close today's board meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.